Hey everyone, welcome back. This is part two of getting the door handles together here, and this is the left door that I'm working on, and just trying to get the fitting right. And this is where you gotta kind of file out the opening for the door latch itself, so that the handle fits into that using the square aspect of things. Got the hole all drilled out and inserted there, and this is just getting some test fitting done to make sure that the screws are in the right spot. And once I got the screws put in, then I just trimmed them off and worked forward from there. Had to get some riv nuts put in there for the hand or the latch mounts, and the guide that goes for the control rod, or the rod that goes between the front and rear latch itself. I ran into a little bit of a problem with this door because I missed a really critical. Well, I mean, it's not mission critical, but it's a critical note that's in the plans. And this is, with the plans being all graphical, it works really well for me. But sometimes it's easy to skip over some of the text. The problem was with the left-hand door handle. I missed a step that basically I needed to file off the. There's a tab that's on the door handles, and in this particular one, it says file it off on both, but one door handle would work just fine. The other door handle wouldn't turn in the correct direction for the door latch to work correctly. So I had a number of back and forth with technical before I saw the error of my ways and safely ground off that tab. Working forward from there, then I'm working on the cover for the door handle itself, or it covers up the door latch. One of the things that it's I didn't quite realize how much extra painting that I needed to have done, and I've got a list coming up here. If you get the flat kit, so if you get the quick build kit, you can't really paint the interior of the airplane without a lot of extra work. But if you get the flat kit, you can have the interior painted, the interior canopy painted to match your desires there, and it includes a number of different things. Here I'm just trimming up the door handle cover to match the opening. Both of these fiberglass pieces were a little long, so they needed to be trimmed up so that they could fit. And then when they're dry fitting I needed to actually remove some material from the door so that the door handle cover would fit down nice and flush, so it worked out well. Um, it, to me, it was one of those things where it's like, oh, this is kind of weird, but I mean, it fits a lot better once I ground that off, and then you just use the masking tape to do that. Anyway, so these are the items that you really want to paint if you have control over that. It's the inside of the canopy, the control sticks, the back of the front seats, and then the door handle covers. So if you're working with somebody to paint all those, like I did, I took mine to a hot rod shop just down the street from my house, and they were really great to work with. They did a really good job. But I just kept having to go back there when I'd find something new that needed to be painted. Um, so anyway, I haven't fully put them on yet because I've got a couple things left to do. And in this particular video, the door handle cover had not been painted. I also wound up trimming well, you've got to cut a couple of openings, top and bottom, for the front portion. And I'm opening the opening for the door handle, the door latch, to fit through. And then in the back, there's just the lower, and this is what I'm trimming out here so that would fit. It's a very, very snug fit to have a very small, or just like a perfect hole, I guess, because the front handle has a top and bottom that has to fit through, and there's a little bit you have to work with to be able to get it fit just right. So I figured I'd get them all trimmed up so that they were really close, and then get them painted, and then the next time that I work with them, they'll go on permanently. Because it's a bit of work to be able to get them on and off, and I'm afraid of breaking or cracking the material because you're trying to flex it a little bit more than what it really wants to do. I've also got a little bit of material that hopefully will protect the hole from when the door is actually in place. Anyway, onto the door latch plates that are there. This is just to use the measurements and bend them by hand into place, and then get them on the airplane and start placing them to make sure that they hit or strike correctly so that they don't interfere with the paint or the part of the canopy that's going to be certainly, it'll wear out. I got a little, I got too far ahead of myself with the side interior there, and so I needed to back that out. In the meantime, I also got the insulator or the gasket around the door openings put in, and I used this edge seal here from McMaster. It was recommended from Midwest Builders, and I'm really happy with it. It went in really well. The sticky part of it was really, really good. The one thing I did do was when I put it in the first time, I didn't peel the adhesive portion back on the part where the bolts or nuts or screws go through for the strike plates. I didn't want to commit to sticking that down until after I had completed that phase of things, and I wasn't quite done with that because I was still dealing with the door handle side of things. But I wanted to move forward with that and also make sure that when the door closed, the door seal wasn't interfering with the door latch in a way that so I basically was getting a nice tight seal on the door. I've been in a sling that they weren't quite we were basically troubleshooting was there a leak or not, and there's definitely potential for air seepage during flight if you don't have a good seal, so I wanted to make sure that I had that working well. And that's just the door, how the door mechanism works there when you're checking with that, moving it back and forth to make sure that it sits correctly. The one thing I really wish that the door strike plate, and I probably will work with a little bit more, is it is an area where you can catch your hand on it when you're kind of getting in and out of the airplane. From the previous video, you may remember that I was working on the rear window installation. Some of the video there, I was just trimming up, and in this particular video I'm actually putting the windscreen on. Again, these are one of those things where when you go to do it, you're committing yourself, and it's very scary to do, because if you screw it up, it's A, a lot more work, and B, potentially having to order another part in to see if you can get something to replace it with. All the trimming of the plexiglass is a bit of a process. I think every piece that I worked on had at least a 2 to maybe 3 inch overlap that had to be trimmed off. So there's a fair amount of extra material that has to be trimmed off, and I've got a video coming up here on how I did that. Once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. And there's no real good way to do this as far as putting, a firm amount of pressure, at least in my experience. Granted, this is my first time doing it, so I'm certainly getting better at it. But if I come up with a better idea, I'll be doing that the next time I do this. So I worked on getting this out there. My wife Lori came out to help because this is just setting that in place and then securing it down. And the other thing that I found kind of the hard way, and I don't have a video on it, was if you don't pull the tape off from the inside and it's a little bit too deep into the Sikaflex, that tape won't come out, and after it cures, and then you see that blue tape from the outside. So if you're, the best thing to do is to peel that tape off before you allow for the Sikaflex to cure. Anyway, so the window looks really good. The one thing that I didn't do that I should have done was tape up the forward portion here of the firewall, and because you need to put some Sikaflex in the seam between the skin on the firewall and the firewall forward side of things, and that's to prevent leaks. And then you also need to put some Sikaflex between the top portion of the canopy, or the nose covering there, and the skin itself. So I just took some time to go through and get that masked off and get that cleaned up. It worked out pretty well. I'm pretty happy with how that turned out. I was really concerned that the extra material between the part where the cowling attaches to and the skin would have some buildup, so that it would interfere with the fit and finish of the cowling. But having done a dry fit up after doing all this, it went on really well, and there's no interference. So I basically just want to press that Sikaflex down into that seam so that no moisture can get in there. And obviously the first thing it hits after it goes through there is going to be the electronics that are just behind the firewall. Anyway, so more to come on the next video, and if you guys have any questions, please let me know. I'm happy to help, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.